He was just a simple waiter, rushing to get to work. One spilled cup of coffee changed everything, and the woman who humiliated him had no idea that a powerful gaze was watching. This is the story of Noah, the boy in the blue apron. Noah was a young waiter, hurrying that morning to avoid being late for his shift at Café Louise, a well-known restaurant in the city center. The cold wind whipped his clothes as he held his blue apron folded under his arm, along with a small canvas bag containing his lunch. His pants were too short, and his worn-out sneakers revealed his modest life, but he walked with determined steps. As he crossed a pedestrian crossing, a well-dressed woman stepped hurriedly out of a taxi. Without looking, she bumped into Noah and spilled her hot coffee all over his white shirt. The scalding liquid ruined his clothing, and Noah jumped, startled and embarrassed. The woman looked up, clearly annoyed. "Watch where you're going, kid," she snapped, her perfectly painted lips contrasting with her harsh tone. Then she turned on her heel and entered a nearby building. Noah stood there, ashamed, trying to wipe off the stain as best he could, while the cold bit into his skin. With no other choice, he continued on his way, his heart heavy and his pace slower. He knew he had to be on time, despite the embarrassment and discomfort, because this job was vital to him and his family. Across the street, in a car with tinted windows, Camille Moreau watched the scene unfold. At 34, she was the founder of a major hotel group and used to seeing much more than most people noticed. That morning, she had recognized the arrogant woman, Delphine Armand, a wealthy heiress and a regular client at Café Louis. But what really caught Camille's attention was Noah. His dignity remained intact, his posture straight despite the humiliation, his gaze steady and courageous, a mix of strength and vulnerability that touched Camille deeply. Without hesitation, she called her assistant. "Find out everything about this boy, where he lives, what he does, everything." She was determined not to let this chance encounter slip away. As Noah walked on, Camille felt a flicker of hope rising inside her, as if this young man held a potential no one had yet seen. Noah arrived at Café Louis late, his stained shirt visible beneath his apron. His manager gave him a harsh look. "Late again, and looking like that? Did you sleep in the gutter or what?" The tone was rough and uncompromising. The young man lowered his eyes and apologized quietly. He didn't want to lose his job, his only source of income, to care for his sick grandmother, whom he supported alone after losing his parents. No one at the restaurant asked what had happened that morning. Noah swallowed his shame and fatigue behind a polite smile and continued to serve customers with care, despite the hardship. He knew that to move forward, he had to stay strong even when the world around him seemed indifferent to his pain. Meanwhile, Camille Moreau received a detailed report about Noah. She learned that he was a former hospitality student, forced to quit after a family tragedy. Living in a modest neighborhood, he took care of his grandmother alone. Touched by his story, Camille decided to act, but discreetly. The next day, Noah found a pristine white shirt folded neatly in his locker, accompanied by a small note. "For those who work with heart, even when the world is cruel." The anonymous gesture warmed Noah's heart. He hadn't owned a new piece of clothing in a long time. For the first time in ages, he felt a glimmer of hope. A few days later, Noah was called into the manager's office, his heart pounding with anticipation. The manager looked at him seriously before delivering the surprising news. Noah was being moved to the restaurant's VIP lounge. This area was quieter, with fewer customers, but far more demanding and attentive guests. Along with the move came a better salary and greater responsibility. Noah was left speechless, barely able to process the sudden change. "I didn't ask for this," he murmured, confusion and disbelief mixing in his voice. It felt surreal, almost too good to be true. The chef standing nearby shrugged casually. "Orders from upstairs. Apparently you're making an impression." Noah nodded slowly, accepting the promotion with a mix of pride and anxiety. This was a rare opportunity, one that could change everything. For the first time, he felt the possibility that his life might finally take a new and brighter turn. One chilly evening, while Noah was serving tables, Camille unexpectedly overheard Delphine humiliating him again in front of other guests. Delphine's arrogant remarks were sharp, but Camille refused to remain silent this time. She immediately called the restaurant director and offered to sponsor Noah's full scholarship to the prestigious Culinary Institute of Bordeaux. This generous offer would allow Noah to continue working while receiving top-tier training, a chance that few ever received. Noah later received an official invitation to enroll in the program, and at first he thought it was some kind of mistake. Alone in his small kitchen that night, holding the fragile hand of his grandmother, tears streamed down his face. For the first time in years, hope felt real and within reach. This opportunity was not just a gift, it was a lifeline. Months passed, and Noah's dedication blossomed. Balancing his intense studies with demanding shifts, he earned the respect and admiration of VIP clients and colleagues alike. His professionalism, kindness, and attention to detail transformed him from an invisible waiter into a recognized and valued member of the team. One quiet evening, Camila approached Noah directly and sat at his table. With a warm smile, she said, "I wanted to thank you. You reminded me what true elegance really is." Noah looked up, surprised to see her. "You're Camille Moreau?" She nodded. "Yes, I saw you that morning when you were humiliated." Noah's eyes dropped shyly. "That wasn't shame," she continued softly. "It was the beginning of something much greater." Her words lingered in his mind, a powerful reminder of how far he had come. 1 year later, Café Louis held a grand reception to celebrate its success. Noah no longer stood behind the counter. He was a distinguished guest, soon to become the director of a 5-star restaurant within the Moreau Group. Wearing a simple but elegant suit, his calm and dignified gaze captured everyone's attention. The same steady look that had never left him despite all hardships. Delphine, still arrogant as ever, attempted to approach him, but Noah politely ignored her, his focus elsewhere. Camille raised her glass to Noah and said, "It all started with a spilled cup of coffee. You were invisible, but now everyone sees you." Noah smiled and replied simply, "Thanks to you." She shook her head with a gentle smile. "No, Noah, thanks to you. I only held out my hand. You climbed the mountain." As the music played softly in the background, they raised their glasses together, celebrating dignity, hard work, and the unseen stories that eventually shine bright